Williams.com. I am logging on today to chat briefly about why your enoughness is enough and that we need your enoughness so much. I just finished facilitating a workshop for an organization around um, the effects of trauma and stress and how it impacts us and some ways to move through that, right? For whatever chapter of life that we're in. And it got me to really thinking about sometimes we all know the sayings, right? If you see my eyes looking crazy, I'm on two different devices trying to, record on both Facebook and IG. So bear with me. We often think about, is what I'm doing enough? Am I doing it right? Right? For so many women, and I think people in general, to be honest, we often doubt our own brilliance, our own ability, our own creativity, right? We often doubt if what we have to say is enough. For some of us, we might have had critical um, caregivers. We might have had just challenging experiences that made us doubt our ability or just whether or not we're good enough, right? And so, even when we work at our gift or our like what we do, our craft, and we really begin to master it, we can still have doubt. We can still have imposter syndrome. And I know for so many people, imposter syndrome is a real thing. For myself, um, I have worked through healing it for years and years and years, right? And it didn't matter the degrees, the master's degrees, the certifications, right? Thousands and thousands of clinical hours that you have to have to become a licensed therapist. None of that sometimes mattered when it came to um, my anxiety about, is this enough? Is the presentation enough? Is the program going to be enough? When I decided to bring my work more online, there were just so many activations and like triggers around visibility and sharing my message and my work and really like myself, right? And so I was just talking to someone about this last night. We often want to separate ourselves from our work, and there is need for that. I've certainly needed to do that, and it's helped me a lot to have that separation. And what I also want to share for someone who really needs to hear this is that what you have to share, your presence, is enough. And there may be other things that you want to do or learn or get better at or more versed in. And it's important to help you feel more confident. But the reality is, you're enough without any of those things. And when we grow in our confidence, sometimes we do feel more confident. But for the people that I'm talking to, you are confident in what you're doing. And the more that you do it, the more that you engage with it, the more confident you will feel. But we won't always feel confident when we're starting out and when we're doing the thing. And this might be professionally for you. It also could be personally, right? When it comes to so many things in life, I believe that life is a practice, and so many things are a practice. Parenting, mothering is a practice. Love is a practice, right? Showing up in your business or in your work or sharing your message. Maybe you have a message on your heart that you want to share. It might be in a podcast or in a blog. That's a practice, right? It might simply be posting more consistently online because you have a message to share. That becomes a practice. And the more that we're willing to lean in and commit to the practice. The easier it gets, and sometimes things are simple, but they're not easy. There might always be like a twinge of nerves or anxiety, or is this going to be enough? Am I going to mess up? Is the tech going to work? Will people show up? That might always be there, right? To an extent. And it's okay. It's part of the human experience. In the same way, when we're in, our personal life, no matter how long we've been doing something, sometimes nerves can pop up, right? We can feel anxious about, is this landing? Are the people that I care about really going to feel my love and my care? This can happen for some of us around like the holidays. We try and do so much and like we want everything to be perfect. We want people to really know how much we care about them. And in truth, those things can be important if they make you feel better, but it also is important to realize most of us, our presence is so more needed than the actual tangible thing that we're offering or that we're giving or that we are even asking for in return. Our presence, your presence, my presence, it's so important and it's so needed because at the end of the day, most people simply want to feel seen and heard and appreciated and and as if you've really seen them and that you have really been present with them, and that far outweighs um anything else, right? Like sometimes our ego mind wants us to get caught up in all these things that don't really matter. um, how perfect the presentation is, or do we have just the right words? Um, am I wearing the right thing? How does my makeup look right? Like all of these things. I literally wanted to have a meltdown when I couldn't find the right like lipstick, and I ended up wearing like I love pink, and so my favorite lipstick is like this like mauve with this dark liner that makes it more like brownish, right? Um, all of my makeup people will understand. Couldn't find the right one. It looked pink. I'm wearing a pink shirt. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And it was because at the end of the day, the amazing people who were on this workshop did not care about my lipstick. They wanted support and practical strategies about moving through um, acute stress and chronic stress, and how our past impacts our current stress, and how do we navigate stress when it's collective stress and we're feeling it on so many fronts, like at home and at work and just in society, like on TV. So many things happen that create stress for us. And so, a couple of the things that I mentioned that I will mention here when we're thinking about, stress, it's not going to go away. Change is always going to be a part of our life. And it took me a long time to understand that. I know for many of you, it did for you as well. But when we can lean into radical self compassion, when we can acknowledge that we're doing our best 99.9% of the time, and two things can be true at the same time. We can be doing our best, and there can be room for improvement. We can be compassionate with ourselves, and we can also um, offer blameless discernment in terms of reflecting on what could be different, or how could I have, like, what feedback, what reflection can I think about regarding whatever it is. Both of those principles can be true and are necessary and important. So I want to leave you with this. How can you really embrace in one step, like in one move of the dial toward what you're wanting, toward what your goal is for this year, towards the change you want to make? What would one step toward that goal or that direction, what would that be like? Is it a shift in perspective? What's a baby step? Your enoughness is enough. And sometimes we can be so stuck in our fear, in our overwhelm, in our anxiety, right? In our PTSD that we doubt if our enoughness is enough. Um, and if people will resonate with it, if it'll be good enough, right? When we can step outside of that ego perspective and just for a couple of seconds of like radical courage, we can say, is this important enough for me to share? Do I feel called to do this thing? Whatever it is. This could simply be wanting a more organized space for yourself, for your family. It could be wanting to be more consistent in a certain area of your life, right? This might not be climbing Mount Everest for you, and maybe it is, but for many of us, it's not, right? For many of us, a simple change can change everything. We've all heard the video speech about the Marine, I think, the service person who says, if you want to change your life, make your bed every day. I have a friend who swears by that. She's like, make your bed, clean your kitchen, start there, and then take the next step and the next step and the next. There is so much truth in taking one step towards sharing your enoughness with the world because we need it more now than ever before. And so I want to leave you with this. What would taking one step in the direction of sharing your enoughness? I'd love to hear what that step is for you. Maybe it's making that post you've been putting off making. Maybe it's saying yes to something that scares you. Maybe it's showing up for something when you feel like canceling. Maybe it's leaning into that growth edge. Even if you know it's going to be messy, even if you know this might be hard, even if you know this is going to hurt, but I also know it's my next right step. Sometimes the next right step will be uncomfortable, even just in the beginning. And when we're willing to move through that discomfort, on the other side is what you truly, truly want and are worthy of. I pray this is helpful and that it really resonates with you in your heart and in your spirit, and that you're able to take that one simple step toward um, in the direction of your dreams, of the thing that really matters to you. Because at the end of the day, I think for so many of us, we are getting really honest about what is it that I came to earth to do? And may I have the courage to do it and stop thinking about it and wishing it would happen and hoping that it happens and like trying to get ready to make it happen. What if I just got up every day and did one thing in the direction of that goal? I would be um, totally like like stunned if you did that and it did not work in some capacity. We have to create the momentum that we seek, and it's going to mean leaning in the direction of what we want, taking action towards the thing, being gentle with ourselves, and being willing to do one next right step and then another, knowing that your work is of high service. It's worthy to be seen, to be heard, and for you to be compensated well for your work, and that your message is meant to support someone on their journey. Literally, your words can save someone's life, maybe even your own. And your message is so important, even when you think it's a small thing. Everybody knows this already, everyone's heard this already. The person that needs to hear it today needs to hear it from you in whatever capacity that looks like. Um, yeah, take that in. I love you so much. I'll be back soon.